So we are going to be making our dowel plant hanger. You will have two groups of cords. You're going to be taking the smaller cord that has another cord wrapped around it. So you'll end up with a 26-inch cord and 4 cords at 120 inches. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to measure out our cord to 35 inches, and we're going to fold it at 35 inches. So I've attached my first cord that is folded at 35 inches. So you can see that the one side of it is a lot longer. You want to have the short cord in the center. So you're going to be attaching them using a lark's head knot. So you have your loop. You're going to put it over the doweling. And then I reach through with my pointer finger and my thumb and I pinch it, and then I use my other thumb to hold this in place. Otherwise, the cord isn't going to stay at that 35-inch mark. And then you bring it through and pull it up. So you'll end up having your 2 short cords in the center. And the reason we're doing that is because our 2 outside cords are the working cords. And so you'll end up using a lot of cord on your working cords, and these are basically fillers. So what we're doing is we're going to start off making our 2 outside supports, and the reason we're doing that is we're going to make them side by side so that you can make sure they're even when you go to do it, and then we will slide them to the outside. So we're going to be making half square knots. Sometimes it's called a spiral knot. So you take your 2 outside cords, and I'm going to put my left over top so it looks like a number 4, and I'm going to pinch it there. And then I'm going to take my right one and I'm going to go over top. So over, around, in behind, and through the loop. And your cords right now are really long. It'll get easier as you go. So again, I'm going to always go over on my left. So I'm going to go over. This one's going to go over, around, and through. So it's over, over, around, and through.
If you're doing this at home, you could actually tape the doweling to the table.
Right. Okay.
If you don't have a hanger to hang them up on.
So over, over, in behind, and through the loop. All right, so I'm coming down with my spiral or half square knot. So you can see here how it's turning. You don't have to turn your hands with it. You can let go. Just make sure you're always grabbing the left cord. So as I go, it's going to be spiraling, and then it's harder to do because it's twisting. So it's really twisting. So I'm just going to turn it. I'm just going to continue and make sure I grab the left cord. And I'm going to make this support 12.5 inches down from the dowel. Right, so you have your second bundle of cords. You can take it apart, and you're going to be attaching all 10 of the cords using a lark's head knot. And this time you're just folding your cord in half. So your 2 ends will be even. So again, you're going to take your 2 supports with the half square knot, put them to the side, and you're going to put these in between. So you're going to go over, reach through and pinch, hold it here, and pull through.
Are you there? She got lucky. Nice.
So now I have all 10 cords attached with lark's head knot. So now I'm not going to use some of these cords right now. So I'm going to leave 8 cords hanging. So 2, 4, 6, 8. So I have these 8. I'm not going to use them right now. I'm going to use these 4. And we're going to make a square knot. Now that you've made a half square knot, you'll be able to easily make a square knot. So you're going to do like you did before. So you're going to go over, over, behind and through. But now you're going to add one more step. Now you're going to cross the right one over, so it's a backwards 4, over, over, in behind and through. And those two together, that makes one square knot. So I've got that in the center. So I've got 8 cords here, 8 cords here. Now we're going to make alternating square knots, which means we're going to use some of the cords from this square knot. So I'm going to take my next 2 cords. So I'll have 6 hanging now. Take the next 2, and I'm going to take the first 2 from my square knot here, and I'm going to make a square knot. So I'm going to go over, over, behind, and through, and I'm going to bring it up to this knot right there. And then I'm going to go with my right. I'm going to go over, over, behind, and through. And now I take these 2, and I'm going to take my next 2.
Yeah, it's for that. They haven't done that one yet.
Over, over, behind, and through. Take it up, over, over, behind, and through. So you have 1 here, and these 2 are right next to each other. They're like in a row. And then we're going to do the next one. So we'll take these 2 and these 2, and we'll end up making 3 square knots. So I have a row of 1, a row of 2, a row of 3, a row of 4. Now I'm going to go to my row of 5. So I'm going to be using all of my cords. So I've made 2 square knots. I'm going to leave 1 cord hanging. I'm going to take my next 2 cords, and we're going to thread the bead through it. So what I do is I take the 2 cords and I twist them together. Thread your bead through. And if your cords at the bottom are all different lengths, that's normal. Okay, so I have 2, 1 cord hanging, this one, threaded through the next 2. I'm going to leave my next one hanging, and then I'm going to go these 4 cords, I'm going to make another square knot, and then these 4, I'll make another square knot. So I have my 2 square knots, 1 hanging, 2 threaded, 1 hanging, and then 2 more. I'm going to repeat this again. So I'm going to make another square knot here, directly underneath that. I'm going to make another one here. And now with these 4 cords, I'm going to make a square knot underneath the bead. So I'm going to push the bead up with my square knot so it's tight to the row above it. And then I'm going to continue, and I'll do 2 square knots here, so that I'll end up having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 square knots. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the top part of my diamond. Now I have to come back in. So now I'm going to leave 2 cords hanging. I'm not going to use them. And I'll make a square knot here. And when I keep going across, I'll end up having 4 square knots like this, and I'll have 2 cords hanging. The next row, I would leave another 2 hanging, so then I'd have 3, and then you just keep going 2 and 1. Make the basket for our plant hanger. So we have our outside supports. We're going to take 2 cords from this one, 2 cords from this one, and we're going to make a square knot. And I want from the bottom of the support to the top of my square knot to be approximately 1.5 inches. bring it up just a little bit. Okay. And then I make the rest of my square knot. So I'll have my 2 inside supports. Now with my outside support, I'm going to take this one and my 2 outside cords here, and I'm going to make a square knot. And it's going to be the same height or level as this one. And then I would do these 4. And I'm going to go all the way around till I have 1 row of square knots. So I have my 1 row. You can see that they're all even. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these 4 are kind of just hanging down. These 3 are like this. So now I'm going to make another row alternating. So I'm going to take 2 from this one and 2 from this one. And I'm going to come down about an inch, inch and a half again. So it'll end up being like this, where you have them 2 from this one, 2 from this one. Now this will be 2 from this one, 2 from this one. So I'll end up going around, I'll have another row of 7 knots. So now we're on to our last knot, and it's the gathering knot. So you have a 26-inch cord. What you're going to do is you're going to make it into a U shape about the length, the width of your hand. And I'm going to bring my cords. If you have any really short ones, try to put those in the middle because then they won't be noticeable. So I'm going to come down about 4 inches, which is about here, so that the top of it is. So I have the open end here, the loop here, and then the long cord. So I'm grasping it. So now I'm going to twist. Doesn't matter if you do clockwise or counterclockwise. So I'm going over top of this, and here's my loop, and I want to do it tight, and I do them so that they're right underneath each other, not overlapping. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to go around another time. Here's my loop. I'm going to put this through the loop, and I'm going to hang on to that. So here's my loop. I'm going to hang on to that end. This one at the top, I'm going to pull it up so it's tight. Trim off this end, trim off this end. And then the one that I did was about 9 inches down. Just cut them off.